Alright, so this is going to be a quick update on Bitcoin dominance. So if you watched my last video that I made on Bitcoin dominance, I think one of the best scenarios that I could think of for Bitcoin dominance is that we continue pushing up just a little bit more. We take out this high, we maybe get an SFP, we get to those continued bearish divs on the daily time frame, and then I would like to see us come down and lose this low. Why? Because, well, number one, then it would be a higher low, so we could break some kind of market structure, actually reverse the trend. Not only would we break structure, but we would also be failing this retest of the value area high for support. I kind of like how we found support on the value area high. Now we're getting another aggressive push to the upside. I think if that fails, and if we start breaking significantly lower, that could be an early sign of more of a retracement to come. You know that this is pretty much the scenario I was hoping for here. And to recap, we reached an area of resistance, golden pocket confluence with the value area high of this massive sideways range. We got one more move to the upside, got an SFP to the high, exactly what I was hoping for, and then we fell down below the value area high as well as the last higher low in the uptrend. And not only have we lost this higher low, but we also lost the one previous to that. It is a significant break to the downside. It's not like we, just kind of barely broke below it and then retraced immediately. I like the fact that it's still continuing to move to the downside. And I think the point of this video is to try and look for some retracement targets. Where might it fall down to? And there is a chance that Bitcoin dominance does begin retracing significantly from here. This could be a significant top. Quickly pointing out something, this is the first time where we've really had a significant break down below a higher low. So if you're marking out the trend, the overall uptrend, you kind of have something like this. We did have a slight break down below a higher low right here, but it barely went below it, immediately retraced. Then it came down, SFP'd that low once more, still didn't really break significantly below this point, and it ultimately just ended up going higher, making another higher high. And from there, pretty much, I guess the higher low would have been right here. So we retraced and continued the uptrend. And this is the first time we're really seeing a significant break, us actually lose a higher low and continue significantly past it. I want to see if I can find some areas of confluence with some support zones. I already have a fib pulled up, and I already have an anchored VWAP from the lowest point down here. Now, the volume of the range has most of the volume being way down here. That is certainly a significant area. I don't know if I would expect Bitcoin dominance to get a move all the way down there, at least maybe not in one fell swoop. It could ultimately just trend its way down there, kind of like this, with occasional retraces. Maybe there's significant retraces, maybe they aren't. But I want to try and look for some supports prior to that because, we may end up ranging. Maybe we end up rotating back up to these highs, start some sort of sideways price action. Let's check the volume of this up move now that we have a significant top, at least what we think could be a significant top. And I actually really like that placement of the point of control. I'm going to mark that out. And the value area low is also kind of right in that area. I'm not super concerned with the val of the up move. I'm more so looking at the point of control. And, I do notice that we could see some confluence in the future with this anchored VWAP. Right now, it's still kind of far away, but it is still trending to the upside. So, yeah, we could see this move up around this area by the time price, or in this case, Bitcoin dominance gets down there. And it looks like it may also line up with the 382 of this fib pull. And, yeah, that's pretty good. So, I think just to kind of mark out this area as an area of interest, I'll put a box around it. We'll go from around that point of control to roughly where the anchored VWAP's at right now. And, this box will probably move up as the anchored VWAP continues to. So, yeah, I might as well leave it there for now. And how does this line up with price action? Do I think that looks like a good spot to retrace to? There are some higher lows here that, are catching my eye. Now, again, I don't even know if there is such a thing as trading Bitcoin dominance. I don't know if there's actually going to be stop losses down below these significant lows, but looking at it just how I would look at any other chart, I would say there's a bunch of stop losses that we could sweep out in order to get to this area. And, of course, there's probably more liquidity, or there would be if you could trade this down below this area. But, the last significant, I would say, stop hunt we had, a move down below a point where people would probably put their stop losses was right here. That was like the last liquidity sweep. I guess you could maybe say that this was one, but it wasn't as good because, in this case, this was actually a higher low. You put in a higher high after it and then swept it out. We didn't do that here. We put in a lower high, swept it out, and then just continued upward. So with that in mind, I would say that, there's a possibility that this liquidity sweep is a significant area that might want to be protected. So maybe price wants to put in a higher low previous to that. That is kind of confluence to the idea of this box working. And, I think if we don't end up holding this box, sure, it's possible we find, support in another area. Maybe it's just like a temporary bounce, but beyond this box, I think the next area that I'm super interested in would be around the golden pocket because of the support resistance flip that we have going on. It would really be resistance to possibly support. So I would probably mark out, honestly, the area from this wick high down to that golden pocket. And, you could even see price move a little bit lower than the box, but then reclaim that support resistance flip. You don't really have to hit it exactly to the dollar. You can see price kind of fall down below it, but then reclaim it. Maybe there's some bullishness down below it, some divergences. Then you start breaking structure and reclaiming it. Then you could still say that we held this area as support. I guess these are my main support areas that I'm paying attention to. And if alts continue to do well, then we could see Bitcoin dominance continue to trend to the downside. And I think since it has officially flipped its uptrend, it's turned to bearish, even though, you could say that this down here is maybe a slightly higher time frame, higher low. Maybe you don't want to count any of these retracements as actual retracements in like the larger swing trend, right? You could say that this itself, with this being the last higher low and then straight up to higher high, could be the prevailing trend. So maybe we want to put in a higher high prior to that point. That could also align with the idea of this box working, but maybe we put in a higher low prior to getting there. And, looking at it that way, you could say that, now losing this box is also losing another higher low in a trend. So maybe that would lead you to think that even if we do get a bounce from this zone following, us losing that first box, maybe it's just a temporary bounce, and maybe we continue lower after that to some of these lower supports. So yeah, that does it for this video. So far we've gotten a pretty decent move from Bitcoin dominance, and alts do seem to be doing pretty well. Some of them are pumping right now. So yeah, I'm going to continue watching Bitcoin dominance. I think it is pretty important to pay attention to it, especially during these times. So, thank you everybody for watching. If you enjoyed, consider leaving a like, subscribing, leaving a comment. I appreciate the support, and I will see you all in the next video.